my way to chat with Lance Bachmann from One SEO. He's pretty active on social, has a very impressive business or businesses, and looking forward to meeting him at his office. Actually, drove out to meet a bunch of SEOs in this area, and it should be a lot of fun to talk to him. We actually haven't planned out what we're talking about, but very interested in his business, very interested in understanding, how he built it over the years and what he looks for in talent and stuff like that. So it should be interesting. Again, One SEO is a pretty well-known SEO company. I believe they do mass volume SEO, so we'll look into it and we'll hope you enjoy it. So stay tuned and enjoy the ride. But first, a message from our sponsor. SE Rankings is a top-rated SEO platform designed to help agencies and businesses of all sizes automate their daily tasks and make data-driven decisions. You can get your 14 free day trial at seranking.com. Check it out. All right, Lance, thank you so much for having me here. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother.
Really impressive operation you have here.
Thank you.
There are how many people here?
150.
150. It's probably one of the larger companies in SEO that's not public, right?
Absolutely. Yes, I'm still 100% private owner of the company.
100%?
100%.
Cool. Awesome. When are you selling?
No, not selling.
Not selling, okay.
Not selling.
Awesome. All right, can you tell people in this camera over here who you are?
I'm Lance Bachmann. I'm from Bucks County, Philadelphia, right here in Pennsylvania. Digital marketer. I own a few other companies also, and love digital marketing.
Cool. And you got into the whole digital marketing space how many years ago? I don't age you.
About 20 some years now, about 25 years ago.
And you still love it?
I still love it. It's my favorite thing out of all my businesses.
And you have several businesses from that year.
5 other businesses.
What's your worst business? You can't say that.
I don't have a worst business. I have what I think would be the hardest one to sell to a private equity business, which would be the painting company. They're not in painting yet, private equity, but roofing they're in HVAC, they're in plumbing, so they're in my IT business. So
okay.
Painting would be the hardest one to sell to a private equity firm right now.
Interesting. And the other companies you have, you're interested in selling to private equity, but not this one.
I have no interest in selling this to a private equity.
This is your baby.
This is the only thing I love, besides my wife and kids.
I totally get that. Totally understand. You have a bunch of businesses back here. I don't know if you can see the numbers, but there's billions every minute being made in these companies. I love how you have data everywhere. You're a big data guy.
Big data. I think numbers don't lie. People lie about numbers. I live my life that way.
All right, cool. So let's focus a little bit more onto the One SEO business.
Okay.
You started that 13, 14 years ago?
14 years ago this April.
This April. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So when you started that, you were fed up with wherever you were working. You're like, I could do it better.
I mean, YellowPages.com. I was the vice president of AT&T for the whole country.
Oh, cool.
I had 900 people working for me, a big operation, and I wasn't so much fed. I just felt like we did a lot of small businesses. I felt like we should be able to treat them better, produce a better product, and I went on my own.
That was a very pivotal time, Yellow Pages, from 2005 to 2008.
It was.
That was like the internet was changing, the Yellow Pages were becoming less, kind of becoming extinct. So you were involved in YellowPages.com, which is trying to get them to that internet point.
They were actually YellowPages.com was probably the #1 place at that time where people went to go find services, home services, lawyers. I mean, we were getting tons of people, businesses and leads. It became the phone book online. And then really what most people don't know is Google went to go buy Yellow Book, not YellowPages.com. Right. Yellow Book told him no. Joe Walsh, I guarantee he regrets that today. He just felt like he was the front runner, and when Google went to buy him, he said no, and Google said no problem. We'll start our own local search. They had all the data,
right?
And they literally just took over local search. Inside of about 18 months, they took over local search.
Right, it was quick.
It was quick, overnight.
And it was painful for a lot of companies.
It killed Yellow Book. It killed all of them. Killed all of them.
Everything. But there are some players that are still fighting with Google today with that. You see all the legal issues in Europe and all these competitive nations. They're just looking for lawsuits and looking for things like that.
They're not going to be Google. I mean, no. it's people. You got to think about the end user. The end user uses Google. Right. So that ends the story. City Search. You remember City Search?
Yeah.
City Search controlled so much traffic 20 years ago. Most people, all their networks. People don't know that. It's where you actually aggregated and bought traffic from. City Search was one of the biggest ones out there at the time, right. And it owned a ton of different portals and sites. City Search, I don't even know they're around anymore.
No. But remember MapQuest? It was like, I'm going to MapQuest.
There you go. I don't know if that's around anymore.
No, I mean, I'm sure they are, but I don't know.
Google probably owns it. I don't know.
It's crazy. And then all the reviews were aggregated by Google from third parties, and then Google's like, screw this, we're just going to get the reviews ourselves. And they're just dominating everywhere. And people want to go after them for that. So, but they did a great job. And
Nobody likes a winner.
No. But you want to be a winner, so
You're
all into winning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope a lot of people don't like me too.
That's awesome. All right. And so, what are the main SEO services that One SEO service provides?
So we're a full digital agency. We do SEO, pay-per-click, remarketing, social media, email marketing, web design, UX audits. We are a full digital marketing agency.
Is there anything that's revenue-wise like more buckets, or is pretty even?
SEO, PPC, and social media make up our core business.
Okay. And I think a lot of that is local focused, or no? So it's all...
I would say probably 70% of our book of business to 80% is local, home services, lawyers, doctors, dentists, things like that. And then we have an e-commerce part of our business. That's probably about 20 to 30% of our business is e-commerce. We do very well in the e-commerce space.
Awesome. And you have like 150 or so people here. How do you hire all these people, especially during the COVID times?
We have 2 full-time recruiters. All they do
really?
in-house is just recruit people. We're constantly, so what people don't realize is Google has high turnover, as you know. Facebook has high turnover. An agency is going to have high turnover. They just are. Like, you got to be very candid about that. We don't lose leadership or mid-management. What you lose is that entry-level person comes in, they're out of college, 2-3 years, get experience, and they jump to somewhere else where you can't stop it. So we know to compete and to keep growing and scaling and taking care of our customers, we know we need to be looking for talent at all times. So we have 2 recruiters full-time, and we work with about 20 recruiting agencies.
Oh, you do work with recruiting agencies?
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm in a different business. I do software development. So it's like high-end programmers getting paid like a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if I have to hire a developer through an agency, through a recruiter, it costs me about 30, 40 grand a pop, which is insane.
We pay more than that sometimes.
Yeah, for I guess higher level stuff.
For a higher pay-per-click person or a higher social media person, we're going to pay somewhere between $25,000 to $40,000.
And how many people you hire like a month on average? You think?
Well, it depends. If right now we're in a spot where we're hiring, but we're also fixing systems, processes, some procedural things. We're training a lot right now. So depends where CJ is. CJ's the CEO. She runs the company.
Yeah.
So she runs the everyday company. She'd be able to answer that question better than me. But I would say on average, we hire probably 2 to 5 people a month.
Okay. So it makes sense if you have an HR person for sure. Or
Yeah,
2.
sure.
So I don't. I'm a small, we're only like 15 people. So it's a totally different beast. You grew from nothing to this.
From nothing. Me and my sister.
It's amazing. And how fast did you grow? Was there a certain point where it's like, we're 10 people, now we're like 50 people? And
yeah, we were probably at like 15, 20 people. We were in an office in Bristol I bought. And we walked in one day, and I thought I'd only have 8 to 10. Most agencies are only 8 to 10 people. You make a good living that way. You make a very good living.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, okay, this is where I'm going to be. And then one day we walked in with 15 people, and one of the guys asked me, like, what's next for me? What's my next opportunity? I said to Joanne, man, if we don't give people an opportunity to keep growing and we're selfish, we're just going to have a churn and burn. So we just went all in and said, let's grow and see where it takes us.
And it's working out. It's great.
Yeah.
Some people can't handle it, literally. I see companies, we're going to grow, and they just fold really quickly. You guys handled it very well. And one thing you mentioned, the reason for that is processes.
You got to have systems, you got to have processes.
And you build that internally, or you have like Salesforce? Or
we use Salesforce, we use Rike. So and we also use TapClicks. Like, we're very big into, I don't build anything proprietary myself. I'm very transparent with people about that. Okay. I'm not a developer, like you said, SaaS programmers.
Right.
Our people over here that are programmers are WordPress developers, Magento, things like that. We're not building Python and building different languages. And
you don't need to, right?
Correct. We're going to take a third-party tool and integrate it into our systems.
Awesome. And that's the only way you can hire so many people. It's the only way to grow is if you have these systems in places, and you probably constantly are tweaking these things.
CJ and her team are constantly trying to tweak things, make it better. Constantly.
Remember, it wasn't too long ago. When did you step down? You were CEO at a point.
I stepped down about 2 years ago now, and we've had the best growth we've had in the last 2 years.
You stepping down is just somebody should hire you, and then you should just step down, and we'll just grow.
No, it's funny you say that because we were growing at about 5 to 8% a year, and as soon as I stepped down, we've had 30% growth every year.
That's amazing. You got a CEO or owner of a company has to know where they exceed.
You know what? I was spread thin. I love digital marketing. She's better at systems and processes than me, and she's a great communicator, and people love her.
Yeah. So you talked about hiring and growing it so fast and stuff like that. It wasn't necessarily intentional, right? And
no.
You're just like, you know what? Let's grow, and then it happened organically.
I didn't have a vision of this by any means. It kind of happened, and you just want to give people the best opportunity that work for you to keep growing, to make more money, and really build something that's sustainable. Now, You know, their children, we have people's kids that work here. We have people's family members that work here, referrals. So you're building your own stable environment for the rest of their lives, that they can have income, a place to work, and a family to come to.
Right. I always tell my employees, even like when COVID hit, I'm like, I structured the business in a way that I could keep you on the payroll and not bring in a cent of revenue in the company for 2 years, and I'll still pay you guys. But I have a much smaller company, and the most important thing for me is to making sure that employees are not just happy and enjoy their work, but also feel like they're financially taken care of.
100%. We have no debt here at One SEO.
Oh, 100%. Oh, no. Yeah, I mean,
we have no debt.
Super impressive.
We have 0% debt.
Good. Private equity firm might want it, but not that you want to sell it.
No.
And then how many salespeople do you have? I'm just curious.
So everyone comes to us. I think we have 4 salespeople, 5 salespeople. That's it. Yep.
Awesome.
Everybody comes to us. Everything's inbound. We do no outbound whatsoever.
That you got a good business going here. Really good. And I mean, at that scale, to have 150 people and to have the inbound with almost no salespeople is just, I don't think it's heard of, to be honest. So good work on that. And then you mentioned one thing, which I felt was interesting. You had employees come to you and be like, there's no room for growth, there's no room for this, and that's when you decided to do that.
Yes.
Growth in terms of what? Salaries? Or growth
not
in
even
terms of
salary.
like,
What's their
positions?
next job title? What are they going to do? What more can they do? People want to be part of something that's growing. Like I always say to people, and I learned a lot in the last 14 years, you're either swimming in the ocean and making progress, you're treading water, or you're drowning. So if I keep my company stagnant, I'm just treading water, and soon I'm going to drown. Right. We're constantly swimming in every company. We're constantly trying to grow now. Everything I do is for growth. If I buy a company, we're growing it. One SEO is growing. We're not treading water anymore in my life.
Got it. Yeah, it concerns me when you tell me that, because obviously I have a small, not an agency, we do software development. And for us, I think it's a little bit different in that the developers are always working on something new and always working on brand new technology that you may have never touched before.
I think it's different because you're only I'm not being rude here. Developers are a different breed of person. They don't mind You might have 1 out of 100 developers that says, I want to go climb the ladder and do more. Most developers are developers because they love developing. They're a little quirky. They don't want to be engaged in 100 different things. So if they can just develop for 6 or 8 hours a day,
right,
they're pretty happy.
Right.
And if you're giving them new things to work on, they're pretty happy.
It's more about the challenge of what they're working on versus, let's say, where can I be in 5 years from now?
Correct. Here, we got to worry about the culture. You see pool tables, foosball tables. You see lunches brought in every single day.
Everybody's in person?
There's no, they get to work from home. I'd be lying to you, I'm not involved as much. They get, I think, 2 days a week at home. I think that's what it is.
Okay. I can't get anybody back in my office. I got pool tables, I got game machines, I got free food. They won't come back, and I'm not pushing them back because honestly, they're more productive at home.
So we have the opposite. We have a lot of young people that aren't as productive at home, and we see because we track everything.
Right. Yeah, I'm massive when it comes to data, tracking everything, inputs, automation, so nothing gets lost and it just streamlines. And I'm a small little company, but that's what we do for other companies. We're like, look at their company, and you're doing most companies, like even your size, are using spreadsheets to manage everything.
No, we don't use spreadsheets at all.
It's insane. So I'm glad you had that all under pack. All right, let's talk about SEO, because although I find the business side of things very fascinating, you got into this because you love digital marketing.
Absolutely.
And you have obviously a focus on local. What's the most exciting thing in local happening right now, you think?
I think where people miss the ball in local is